There you go. And I'm Doug Moody, and I will be your facilitator again today, and probably again in the future. So the next slide, please. So today, what we have on the agenda, Erica's going to start with an update of the overall VTA BART Phase 2 project. Then after Erica, Kristen is going to discuss the community working group work plan for 2023 with y'all. Then Adriano has an update about the station refinement efforts for the downtown and Diridon BART stations, and also an update about the design of the 28th Street Little Portugal station. I have some the Santa Clara station will be discussed at the upcoming Santa Clara Council meeting. And after Adriano, Eric is going to have some information with you about the project's construction activities, and then we'll have some space for CWG member report outs. And a reminder that the CWG member report out part of the meeting is your opportunity to share with the group whatever you'd like, but the things that we would very much ask you to share is how you've been sharing information about VTA's BART project with your communities and what you've been hearing back, so we can have full information, know what issues are out there, so we can appropriately address them. Next slide, please. And then we also have some info for you about the next round of CWGs, what's on the agenda for the CWG meeting in May. So before we get into the presentation, first we'd like to give some space for the CWG members to introduce themselves to the group. I'm gonna go down the list. Fortunately, in this group, we have Chair Anna is also has an A, so she's at the top of the list. We'll start with her. Just organization, name and organization, please. So Anna, would you please say hi?
Hi, everyone. Anna Vargas Smith. I wear a few community hats. I'm the chair for CWG. I can't even say it. Been on there since 2018. ROD member, also HLC member, and also on the Downtown Community Task Force since 2018. So.
Thank you, Anna. Welcome as always. Todd, I don't see Todd on the line. Do you see Todd?
Hey, Doug.
There he is. There he is. Hey, Todd.
Doug, please. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Todd Trickell. I'm with Hunter Properties, Hunter Storm, as you see here on the presentation. Nice to see everyone and nice to be here today.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you for jumping in and making sure you got to say hi.
Absolutely.
Next up, we have David. I don't see David. Is there anyone else with SCU, Santa Clara University? Jack, is Jack here today?
Yeah, I'm here.
There
Hello,
you are.
everyone. Welcome. And everyone come down and see us down at the depot down there. We're open on Saturdays.
Sounds good. Thanks for joining us, Jack. John, is John with us today? John Urban? Let's see, Jonathan, I do see Jonathan. Jonathan, you want to say hi?
Hello. Wait, is my microphone?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, hi, Jonathan Evans, I'm president of the Old Quad Residents Association. So I'm here today.
Thank you, Jonathan. Welcome. Luke, is Luke here? I don't see Luke or anyone else with the quakes. Ron, I did see Ron. There's Ron. Hey, Ron, you want to say hi? Ron with Bellarmine College Prep. And then looks like we're looking for a member from the Silicon Valley Chamber of Commerce. So thanks everyone for saying hello. Next slide, please. Before we get into the presentations, just as a reminder, some upcoming meetings. So we're going to meet back here again for the next CWG Santa Clara CWG meeting in May. And VTA's BSB project is going to be at the VTA Board of Directors meetings monthly, March, April, and May. And then, as I alluded to previously, there'll be updates on the Santa Clara station design at the March 21st Santa Clara City Council meeting. And then if there's other meetings that are relevant to the CWGs and its members, that list, Kristen will email out alerts for other meetings. And with that, let's get into the first presentation. Erica, you're up with a phase 2 update.
Great, thank you. As mentioned and emphasized at the February VTA board meeting, we're remaining mindful and paying close attention to the project's cost, schedule, and risk. We're continuing to emphasize this cost, schedule, and risk implications as we make decisions on how to proceed with the project's design and construction. We very much want to keep that in mind as we look at what we're doing for station refinements effort as well. With additional funding through FTA's New Starts program, we're excited to have additional support to help aid in the success of the project, which I'll touch more on the next slide. In addition, we want to emphasize that we're doing the best that we can to keep this schedule on track, as delays could cost the project millions of dollars. Wanted to touch on our funding plan. As you recall, there's funding sources from federal, state, regional, and local level. So there's no change. We have our local sales tax measures, Measure A and Measure B, and our regional RM3 money. In addition, the state of California awarded $375 million to VTA for the BART Silicon Valley extension. This new award is in addition to the $750 million that we received previously, bringing the total through the TIRCIT program, the Transit and Intercity Rail Capital Program, to $1.125 billion. Last year's state budget surplus made additional TIRCIT funds available for transportation infrastructure projects throughout California. So this infusion of additional funds is an important step for us as we're entering into the New Starts program for roughly $4.6 billion in federal contribution for the project. Exciting progress, excuse me. As Kristen alerted you of, and we've alluded to here, Doug mentioned as well, there was a report out to the VTA board at the February meeting on the station refinement effort for the downtown Diridon and 28th Street Little Portugal stations. The station refinements are related to the configuration of the stations, which is included in the tunnel and track work contractor's scope. Adriano is going to be touching more on that in a little bit. In addition, moving forward in the spring, we'll have updates to the VTA board on the start of early construction site preparation of the West Portal within VTA's New Hall Yard and on the Business Resource Program. And as we're continuing to prepare for early construction activities, we'll be going to the board in the summer timeframe for approval for the contractor's early construction activities throughout the remainder of the alignment. So some upcoming meteor updates to the board. And that's what I have for the phase 2 update.
Thank you, Erica. Does anyone have questions or comments for Erica?
All right, thank you.
Cool. And I don't see anything in the chat. And no hands raised, which if you want to say something that's helpful, I'll read the questions in the chat or direct it to you or call on you if your hands raised. Kristen, over to you for the CWG work plan review.
Yeah, so wanted to talk with you and share our 2023 draft work plan for the Santa Clara CWG. And just a reminder that this work plan is subject to change according to various project milestones and schedule changes. So we're planning on having our 4 meetings in February, May, September, and November of this year. But if a specific need or project milestone arises, we may have additional meetings as we see fit. This year, we'll be providing various phase 2 program updates throughout the year, which includes updates on FTA and funding, contracting, and real estate. And as we ramp up for construction this year, there's going to be plenty of construction updates, both on the project milestone side and the CP2 specific construction transportation management plan. We'll also be providing community engagement updates that include the business resource program and general outreach. And although there won't be specific design review committees this year, we do expect to dive back into this next year, so in 2024. We also do anticipate being able to share updates on station area planning and adjacent developments and government affairs updates as well this year in the coming months. So knowing that this work plan is ever evolving, we wanted to hear from you and see if there's any specific topics that you'd like to hear more updates on in the coming months. So wanted to create this space where you can either unmute yourself and raise your hand or enter suggestions in the chat, and we can go from there. Yes, Jonathan.
Hi, at one point there was some discussion about having like an underground concourse and some additional connectivity. Is that included within any of these updates?
Yes. So as I think that would fall under the phase 2 program update. or station area related. It just depends on what types of updates we'd bring, but yes, it would buckle under that. Any other suggestions or questions? Feel free to raise your hand or enter it in the chat. And knowing that it is an extensive, there's a lot of different topics that we could cover. I did email out the work plan to you, and feel free to review it in more detail. And if there's items that come to mind, feel free to email me or enter it in the chat as this meeting goes on. So it doesn't just end here.
Kristen, I had a question. As far as your community engagement, I see you're planning for February and May and September. Will that be similar to what you did last year at different locations?
Yes.
Oh,
So just an update on that. We are planning on tabling a minimum of 2 times per month at our various station areas. And so every now and then we will provide updates on where we're tabling. We also have started ramping up our social media. So if you want to follow and keep track of where we're tabling at, the different events that we're attending, and the different organizations that we're partnering with, you can definitely stay tuned there on that front. Yeah, that's a great question.
Will do. Definitely count me in.
Yeah. And we're definitely looking at the Santa Clara Parade of Champions as well again this year. So we have that on our radar.
Oh, good, good. October 7th.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other questions, comments, suggestions? If not, I will move on, but feel free again to email myself or put it in the chat. So after discussing with our CWG chairs over the past few months and weeks, our BSVE team has begun researching and looking into potential CWG member additions. And through these potential additions, we're hoping to really diversify and broaden representation amongst our CWG members and integrate some of your suggestions from earlier meetings on certain organizations that we should be engaging with. And the addition of these CWG members will hopefully work to enhance our multidisciplinary group with backgrounds in education, active transportation, and other underrepresented groups. So we're looking into that. Although we haven't really gone through the process of directly reaching out to the group specifically, we wanted to remind you that the potential new members would all have to meet our existing CWG member criteria. And that includes not having more than 1 seat per organization across all the CWGs. It also means that the nominee must live or work within half a mile from the alignment or represent a group or organization that's focused specifically on issues within that half-mile radius. And the nominee must not be an elected official or work directly for an elected official that represents San Jose, Santa Clara, or Santa Clara County. And the nominee must not have a conflict of interest in relation to the project with regards to property or VTA current or political vendors, consultants, or contractors. So just wanted to make you aware of this. We are looking into it. And also wanted to open the space up as well if you have any suggestions of organizations that you'd like us to reach out to or look into to see if they meet the criteria or if they're interested in joining our group. So happy to hear any suggestions. Feel free to raise your hand or enter it in the chat. All right, seeing no one jump to raise their hand, we'll move along. But again, if something comes up and you think of an organization that you'd like us to look into, definitely feel free to reach out or enter in the chat. So as we plan and prepare for our upcoming meetings, oh, sorry. Yes, Jonathan, did you raise your hand?
Yeah, I was just kind of curious about the half-mile alignment versus like something like a mile, which is still within like your kind of typical commute distance, especially if someone's on a bicycle.
Yeah, so I think Erica might be able to jump in with more historic context, but I think that half mile is to keep it more focused to our station areas and to the alignment to make sure that we're really serving the people and communities that are in those focused areas.
Yeah, I was just asking why a half mile versus like a mile, because mile is still
Yeah.
typically considered walkable and, you know, within
Right,
those distances when you're looking at transportation.
Yes.
I'd say, Jonathan, if you have an organization that you would like to recommend that's between a half mile and a mile, you can feel free to provide that input to us and we can evaluate it to see if potentially that would work out.
Okay, sure. Because I know you said you're looking at like active transportation, you know, like Santa Clara's like BPAC, you know, and some of those other organizations, which maybe aren't specifically within a half mile.
Yeah. Again, it's an organization could have specific issues that they focus on within that half mile. So they may not be physically located
Okay.
directly in that half mile. But yeah, if they do work that's specific to that area, then they would still constitute and fall under the criteria, as
Would
long as
Santa
they
Cla-
meet the others.
Would Santa Clara's BPAC be considered to be working for an elected official representing Santa Clara?
That's what I was just going to say. I don't think that the BPAC would be able to be included, but there are other bicycle organizations that we have included in other groups and are looking at. And I think Kristen's going to go into that on her next slide.
Yeah. So if you have any suggestions, we can definitely take it and take a closer look and vet it. But don't be afraid to send it. We can take a closer look on behalf of you. So thanks. So yes, as we do plan for our upcoming meetings, we do want to get a pulse of whether you as a CWG would like to have virtual or in-person meetings. And so we just have a single poll question that I'm going to pull up and see. Please answer it as you see fit. I'm going to launch the poll.
Is there an option for this poll for preference as opposed to?
Answer it as if it is your preference, I guess.
Was the question no preference? Is there an option for no preference?
No, this doesn't look like a preference. It's like, will you attend or not? There may be like prefer one option versus another, right?
Oh.
But as opposed to, yeah, okay, if you have an option,
Yeah.
I think if you interpret, I think you can assume we'll like would prefer to. Yeah, I think we'll take both those answers. Consider those similarly.
okay, I think I already answered. I'd like to vote again.
Feel free to also email me directly, Jonathan, if you want to provide context. It'll help to our decision making as well. All right, seeing that the poll has stabilized, I'm going to end it in 5 seconds in case anyone wants to make a last minute vote. All right. And it looks like most people are down for whatever meeting option is made available, and some do prefer to only have virtual meetings. So thanks for your feedback and for participating in the poll. And that is it for my section. Did anyone have any questions?
Kristen,
Yeah.
would you offer a hybrid option going forward?
That's a great question. So we won't be offering hybrid with whatever we choose, just because of the amount of effort it takes to kind of plan both sides. And we have found that in the past, it's not the most conducive for either side participating. So it'll be either one or the other.
One or the other. Okay, thank you.
But I think we are looking into the potential of having a mix. So maybe not all of them virtual, maybe not all of them in person, just to have a variance. So potential there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Kristen. You're making my job very easy today. Adriano, over to you for a station refinement update.
Good afternoon, everyone. No audio issues today. No audio. Awesome.
Good
Okay.
afternoon.
All right. So as we've presented in the past, and I'm sure you've heard, we kicked off a station design refinement effort in mid 2022 to look at refinements to the downtown and Deardown stations that could be implemented within the timeline and the current funding strategy for the project. We are also asked to look at accommodations that could be included for future projects that cannot be included as part of this project specifically. Overall, the key focus and goals for this were to identify ways to improve connectivity and access, passenger experience and circulation, and optimize TOD integration on the station sites. This effort also happened in parallel with the CP2 or the Tunnel and Track Work Contractors innovation period. And so the recommendations and innovations proposed by the CP2 contractor were included as part of this refinement effort. So the big innovation from the contractor was a new tunnel configuration, and the tunnel shifted to a larger diameter that allowed side-by-side tracks and a center platform. So this configuration has been adopted, and largely what this means is it means that all passengers will be able to access the platform from the same concourse level. So as you can see in the image on the right, there is only a single passenger added or connection from the station sites to the concourse level, and from there passengers would be able to access the center platform and trains in either direction. So the effort, which kicked off in early summer, consisted of significant coordination with the City of San Jose, SPUR, and other stakeholder and agency partners. We conducted 7 workshops throughout the summer and early fall, and through those identified some of the key goals, evaluation criteria, and potential refinements. We then took those back and really dove into the feasibility from a technical, timing, engineering standpoint, and then further refined those still to identify what could be accommodated by the project. So all of the refinements were really evaluated from a passenger experience, TOD integration, and a constructability standpoint. While one of the original focuses was to focus on TOD integration, the approach that is being taken for the 2 downtown stations is to really maximize the public benefit by focusing on placemaking. And so looking at opportunities to provide public spaces above our stations or around our stations, really creating an environment that our people can hang out in and really cherish. So 2 examples that we are looking at include Salesforce Transit Center, and the recently opened Central Subway Chinatown Rose Pack Station, which both include some rooftop amenities rather than TOD above the stations. Next slide. So at the downtown San Jose station, the primary focus was to improve passenger experience. The diagram on the left shows the baseline design, and the diagram on the right shows the refined concept. The baseline design on the left included 3 escalators and 2 switchbacks to access the upper concourse level, and an additional escalator and switchback to access the lower concourse level. The refined concept widens the diameter of our station shaft, and that allows for longer escalator runs and allows us to reduce the number of escalators to just 2 escalators to access the bottom, the concourse level. So overall, this refined concept it significantly improves passenger experience in the area by providing a more intuitive path of travel to the trains. The larger diameter shaft does impact the ability to accommodate on-site high-density TOD above the station entrance building itself, but the station will be designed to fit into the surrounding urban fabric, and we are looking at possibility and feasibility of including rooftop amenities above the station. So although we are no longer pursuing high density TOD immediately above the station site, station building itself, there is still well over 1.5 million square feet of TOD envisioned for the station block as envisioned by VTA's downtown development framework. And so we think that most of that TOD that was previously envisioned above the station can be reallocated elsewhere within that block itself. And then looking a little bit further out, there's a lot of other TOD development that is planned and envisioned in the station area. And so we just felt that maximizing TOD immediately above the station was not a top priority. Another comment that we've received and have looked into is the feasibility of providing an entrance to the south side of Santa Clara Street. So VTA and the city explored and looked at multiple locations. Ultimately, it was determined that the corner of Santa Clara and Second would really provide the best opportunity in terms of connection to the south and to the First and Second Street light rail or transit malls. However, this property and this site is on within a historic district, and so it poses significant challenges from a timing and environmental clearance in order to be able to incorporate it into the project itself. Instead, VTA has decided to extend our platform or our concourse level, which is currently shown in orange in the image here. We're extending that eastward as represented by the purple section, so that a future entrance could easily connect to that concourse when that is built. We're also providing a knockout panel or these steel doors within the tunnel lining itself to facilitate that future connection. At the February VTA Board of Directors, the project staff was also asked to continue to work with the city to further explore a feasible path forward for making this southern entrance a reality. And so we will be reporting out on that in the coming months as we advance that. Moving on to Dierdon Station, here passenger experience was generally much better than and more intuitive than the downtown station. In fact, passengers would access the platforms in the exact same way as our refined concept for downtown. So the focus at Dierdon was really to look for opportunities to improve TOD feasibility on the station site. The baseline design is shown on the left here and the refined concept on the right. The baseline design included ability to accommodate up to 1 story of TOD above the back of house facilities. Those are shown behind the station site, just below ground. For an additional cost, accommodations could be made to allow for more dense TOD above that, though that TOD would be subject to very stringent seismic and design requirements, and likely would cost significantly more for any future developer to construct. With the tunnel innovation, we are actually able to move some of our back of house facilities from just below ground all the way below our public facing facilities within the station shaft as represented by these red arrows. And what that means is that that southern part of the block is fully unencumbered or not subject to any BART or stringent seismic requirements. And so this really makes the TOD on the site much more feasible, much more likely to happen. And in addition to being less costly to construct, now we also have the ability to provide some underground amenities, or the future developer would be able to provide some below ground amenities that were not feasible in the prior design. So overall, this refinement really just improves the feasibility of TOD and provides a much more efficient way to construct our stations as well. So we think that this refinement would allow TOD to be much more likely to occur in the future. Again, Putting it in perspective, there are more than 4 million square feet of office and mixed use new development that are planned in those blocks immediately adjacent to the station site. And there are well over 18 million square feet of development planned in the station area as a whole. So we feel that the focus on public amenities over TOD was, again, or maximizing density was appropriate for this site. We also looked at the opportunity to provide a second entrance to the west of the railroad tracks to fully integrate with the future Diridon intermodal station concept as currently envisioned. Due to some of the uncertainty around where that concourse will really be located and how to best make that connection, we're not able to really make any accommodations for it right now. However, those are still feasible to be pursued in the future if desired, so by the DISC partnership. And so they would need to extend the concourse as shown in blue in this image and construct a new station entrance immediately adjacent to our site. In addition to the downtown and Diridon stations, there is a refinement to the 28th Street Little Portugal station. This refinement was initiated by the design build contractor, the tunnel contractor, and really is shifting from a cut and cover construction method for the 28th Street station to a construction method that is much more consistent with the other two San Jose stations. And so by shifting to a circular shaft, we're able to optimize construction by being more consistent with the other stations' designs, but also significantly reduce construction-related impacts as the amount of soil to be hauled and excavated is significantly reduced. And lastly, this refinement would provide a consistent way of accessing the station platforms that it would be similar throughout all three of the San Jose stations. Keep forgetting to put a final slide in here, but just wanted to note that the focus of the design refinement effort was to really look at the below ground facilities and the structures that are required for the contractor to advance today. We will continue to work with the city and with the surrounding stakeholders as we further look at the actual station entrance buildings, the way they look and feel around the outside. So the shaft below ground does not dictate the way that the station above ground needs to look. And that is my update.
Thank you, Adriano. Are there questions or comments for Adriano?
I just wanted to make an observation. I noticed a lot of the, because I also attended the VTA board meeting on Zoom. There's a lot more focus on less TOD and more placemaking and amenities and this time around in your updates. I'm feeling optimistic that maybe the same is going to happen for the Santa Clara station. So it seems like you are shifting gears a little bit. Is this pattern to continue for Santa Clara?
So at the downtown and the Diridon stations, the focus, we did look at how we could improve TOD, but ultimately felt that there's so much TOD already planned in the area that it wasn't worth focusing on TOD over passenger experience and making sure that we can provide a good passenger experience and experience for the public. I can't quite speak to Santa Clara station. I know it's a little bit of a different environment, but maybe Erica can add in a little bit about what is being prioritized there.
Yeah, so the city's kicking off the Santa Clara station area specific plan that will look at development in the area to advance the TOD in the area separate from the BART project. So there's not going to be any TOD co-located, as the station is already being co-located with the yard, and it didn't pan out to have TOD co-located on that site as well. But there, yes, will be lots of TOD surrounding the area in that area that's being studied as part of the station area plan.
Thanks, Erica.
Any
Yeah, I just wanted to
other-
say that I
Jonathan, yeah.
appreciate that you're looking at passenger experience and improving, connectivity and such. And I hope we apply these principles to the Santa Clara project once it, kind of as Anna said, I want to make sure we apply those to Santa Clara as well. On the TOD thing though, it would be good. Like, it looks like there were some nice refinements there that we actually were able to put some TOD back in where maybe it was, getting a little bit excluded. And it'd be good to, use some of those principles as we look around the Santa Clara station and, start that refinement within the station area plan. Because yeah, I think we shouldn't discount TOD. It's pretty important. And, we have a lot of space with that yard that it seems like it's a little underutilized. So, well, utilized for trains, but not for housing. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments for Adriano on the material he presented? Okay, don't see anything in the chat. Jonathan, I still see your hand up. I imagine that's a remnant. So we're going to go over to
It was
Erica with the update on construction activities.
Great, thank you. So starting in late February, KST, the contractor for the tunnel and track work contract, will be completing some exploratory geotechnical borings along the tunnel alignment from the Deer Dawn area over to the east portal. So nothing super close in the area where you all are, but wanted to share nonetheless that they're starting to happen. So there'll be over 50 borings that will be occurring each for approximately 1 day. And there's a picture here on the screen of what the equipment will look like that they'll be using. As we've done previously, we'll distribute construction notices in the area for these field investigations, and we're sharing with you as well. So that's coming down the pipeline for the next several months. Now on to the construction transportation management plans update. So to give a reminder of the development process that we're going through here, we have regular coordination meetings between the contractor, VTA, and the city. In addition, we're having regular coordination meetings with adjacent developers and groups throughout the development to provide input and discussion. In addition, we will be presenting the draft plan on how the access for all modes will be coordinated during construction to the community. Hosting public meetings within the individual work areas that are covered by each of the CP2 specific construction transportation management plans. The public meetings will include the development process, the schedule, and the details on the construction work area and work hours and the plans to minimize the impacts. So as I mentioned in the last meeting, we're working with KST on the first CTMP. KST is the contractor, Kiewit Shea Trailer, for the tunnel and track work contract, which covers the early construction activities at the West Portal, where the tunnel will be built from within VTA's New Hall Yard. And we have an upcoming public meeting where we will be sharing information with you. We will be having an in-person meeting on Wednesday, March 15th at Santa Clara University, and a virtual meeting on Thursday, March 16th. And thank you to Santa Clara University for volunteering to hosting. I know that they're not here today, but we appreciate their partnership. We're working on finalizing the flyer and RSVP links, and Kristen will send that out to you so you can help us assist with distribution to your networks. And that will be coming soon. So wanted to let you know. And then lastly, just wanted to touch on, the process here. So this first CTMP is happening in the area where for activities within the yard, kind of in the area under where the number 1 is. That's where the West Portal is, and the whole VTA's New Hall Yard is that area in orange there. We're working through with the contractor on the future construction transportation management plans. Likely there's going to be one for some remaining early works that will be grouped together, but that's still being refined. And the phasing and packaging for future CTMPs for major construction, as well as for future contract packages, will be determined later. So it's a work in progress as the design and everything advances, and we'll continue to keep you posted. That's the construction update we've got for today.
Thank you, Erica. Are there questions or comments for Erica? Okay, moving on.
I guess one thing before we move on, I just wanted to clarify that there will not be TOD built over the New Hall Yard and Maintenance Facility moving forward. I know, Jonathan, you're interested in and mentioned that there'll be a lot of potential TOD in the area, but that one's not something that's being explored or that will occur. Just want to close the loop there. Thank you.
All right. Questions or comments for Erica? Okay, next slide, please. On to the CWG member report back part of the meeting. Reminder, this is where you're welcome to share whatever you want, but we'd love to hear from you about how you've been sharing information about BART Phase 2 project, VTA's BART Phase 2 project, and what you're hearing, so we can be aware of the issues that may be out there, so we can be aware of them and appropriately address them. So I open the floor to CWG members to share. Also, the reminder that if you have other ideas for people or orgs that might be a good fit to join the CWG, this is a good time to share that info too.
Yeah, Doug, I'll just chime in. So with regards to potential members, one thing that does come to mind is, as you know, TikTok is now a tenant on the Coleman Highline campus. They are scaling up quickly, and they're one of the few employers in the Valley that's actually are hiring aggressively, hoping to have somewhere between 3,500, I think, employees at some point in that 650,000 square foot building. They might be an interesting stakeholder to have involved in this group, given the fact that they're going to be a significant user at some point. So we can certainly reach out to them. They're relatively new to the neighborhood, so we might give them a little time to settle in. That's one thought. And then also Roku as well, given their close proximity and being a major employer, could be a nice addition, once again, from a user perspective, corporate user perspective.
Thanks for sharing that, Todd.
May I ask Todd a question? I noticed that Yahoo is also in the same campus. Is that a large, I know that's part of Google. How many employees are in that Yahoo office?
Yeah, so actually Yahoo, it's complicated like life always is. So we actually originally built that building, and Jonathan will know this, but we built that building originally for Verizon. Verizon had merged with or had acquired Yahoo. During the construction phase, Verizon actually sold off Yahoo or Verizon Media. And then it was to an entity, blah, blah, blah. Yahoo did a sublease with TikTok. So Yahoo is the master lessor, but not the lessee in that building anymore. So it's TikTok who has all the employees in that building. That's why the signs are off the building now, and you'll see ByteDance on the building soon.
Thanks for that update.
You're welcome.
Are there other CWG members that would like to share with the group?
I will.
Yeah, please.
So the obviously what we're focused on is in our revitalization of our downtown. Since 2018, we've been working on this, and we've got the light at the end of the tunnel pretty much. So our timeline indicates that EIR should be completed by June, and that by August 2023, we'll be able to present this 10-block master plan for the downtown to the city council by August. So we're really excited about the speed at where we're going, as well as the speed that with which you're going as well. It seems like it would be ideal. You've always included us, the downtown, as part of your regional plan there. So to continue this connecting and refining as the years go by, so that we make the region such a wonderful success. I mean, the future looks pretty bright. We're strategically located. The airport's right there. BART's going to be right there. There's a train station. There's a university. There's so much that will connect all the dots. And so I just wanted to give you an update on what our timeline looks like for the downtown. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be an instant construction. After it's approved by City Council and Mayor, then of course there's the RFP situation, finding the right developer for those first 6 acres across the street from the university. But we are looking at TOD there as well. I mean, we're looking at mixed use. It'll be residential above retail and dining and something that looks a lot like what a Campbell might look like, that kind of downtown. So it's advantageous for BART. I mean, you have people, if you're looking at placemaking, we can be part of your placemaking. So we're really excited about what's happening with what you're doing there, and the refinements and amenities that you might be proposing for the BART station. That's my update.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing, Anna. I remember last time when we first learned about TikTok, I was looking for a joke about it. And Todd, you said something about a dance, but that
Yeah.
it seems like there might be some settings for some influencer moments in this
Yeah.
area. So if TikTok's looking for some promotion for their new office and they want to have something related to the BART project and the CWGs, I'm sure we can find a way to put something together and
That
post
would be
something. That'd be fun. I'll participate.
That would be fun.
So keep us in the loop, Todd.
Okay, you got it.
Thanks. Thank you for sharing, Anna. Any other CWG members want to share? Whatever you want, but the prompts being how you've been sharing about VTA's BART Phase 2 project with your community, what you've been hearing, or if you have other ideas for CWG members and orgs.
Members and orgs.
Organizations and members. Organizations and perhaps specific members. All right, I'm not seeing any hands. I'm not seeing anything in the chat. I'm not hearing anyone chime in. Although Jonathan, I saw you come off. Jonathan, please.
Yeah, I just want it's not a thing that we've had yet, but we're looking at scheduling our next kind of Oakwood general meeting. So we'll be giving an update on the BART project to our members sometime next month. And if you have any materials that you'd like to have me share, please send them my way, and I'll share them out with the larger membership since we're having a meeting.
I think Kristen and Erica are probably the right duo to get that info to you. So we'll note that as a to-do list and be in touch. And we also look forward. I saw Kristen and Erica nod, so I think that's an affirmative on that. And we also look forward to hearing back what you hear from the group after you share the info.
Yep, I'll hopefully have an update for you next month.
Cool.
Next meeting.
When is that date, Jonathan? Just so that we have that on our note.
In March, first week
Okay.
of March. Yeah.
Okay.
So a couple weeks.
Awesome. Thanks.
Anything else before we adjourn?
I did want to mention one more thing. I did share you the update that the CEO of the chamber, I'm on the board for the chamber, that he has moved on to Texas. And so we are in the process of finding a new CEO. But in the meantime, we do have a business council that does meet not probably next month. And I had proposed, I think it was last year, that possibly a short presentation having you as guests for the business council at the chamber might be a great idea. So just let me know what your availability would be over the next 3 months, and I could go ahead and facilitate that.
Yeah, we're open to doing those types of things. Is that the Silicon Valley Chamber located in downtown San Jose?
Yes, that is.
Yeah.
No, this one's located in Santa Clara.
Okay, there's a Silicon Valley organization that switched back to the San Jose
Chamber of
that
Commerce,
I'm
correct.
thinking of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a
okay.
different-
It was
Yeah.
the SVO, now it's the San Jose Chamber of Commerce.
exactly.
So it's in Santa Clara again, which I think makes Kristen and Erica still your right duo for that.
Okay.
All right, anything else? Cool, then we will wrap this up. Thanks for joining us today for another productive meeting. Fun seeing y'all. Thanks for the good conversations. We'll see you back here in May. And the draft agenda is here that we'll confirm with Anna leading up to it. So we're anticipating another update, a general phase 2 update, another construction update, an update on what's happening with community engagement. Kristen talked about we're tabling twice a month. And it sounds like we have some meetings we'll be doing in between in your area. And then also the CWG member report back, as always, that we just had. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a great evening. We will see you around.
Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thanks
Bye.
all.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.